Hey YouTube, Ed here with Jack of All Trades and welcome to another video. So what I've got today is the BougeRV Rover 2000 semi-solid state portable power station. I picked this up on Amazon a while ago. They had a deal running where if you bought the power station, you got their 3500 BTU camp or tent air conditioner for free. So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. And welcome back. So yes, like I stated in the intro, I've got the BougeRV Rover 2000 portable power station. I picked this up, like I said, on Amazon. They were running a deal, so I thought, you know what? For running my air conditioner, I might as well have a power station to do it. And it would just be a handy thing to have. Uh, so I went ahead and I picked it up, and I've wanted to play with some power stations here and maybe look at some solar charging and things like that. So I'm going to try out some various kinds of solar panels in the future, see how they are compatible with this thing and see how they operate. But I digress. So the BougeRV Rover 2000 power station. If you look on the BougeRV website, their normal price on these things is quite a bit north of $1,000. I think I picked this up for like 700, and I got the free air conditioner with it, and I thought that was a pretty good deal. So let's talk about what I got in the box and things like that. So obviously you get the power station in the box, you get an instruction manual in the box, you get an AC power cord in the box, you get a DC car charger cord in the box, and you also get solar panel connections. This is your standard, I believe it's MC4 connections, and then they're plugged on the back to plug it into the unit, and then you can plug this into solar panels. So they give you basically everything you need to get started. You can go ahead and plug this thing right into the wall. You can charge it in your car while you're driving. Any number of ways that you can do this. So just looking at the front of the panel here, this thing's pretty simple and it's pretty well laid out. You've got your power button right here. You've got two DC 5525 DC power ports there. You've got your standard car charger, for lack of a better term, cigarette lighter port. Kind of dating myself there because I don't think you can even buy a car with a cigarette lighter anymore, but it's that style of port. You've got USB-A plugs here. You've got three of them, and you've got three USB-C plugs on the front. So you've got plenty of USB charging capability. And then on the back of the unit, you've got five AC power ports. So you can plug into up to five items, and you've got a maximum of 2200 watt draw at 120 volts. Also on the back, you've got an expansion power port. This is if you want to buy expansion batteries for this thing, which you can do, and you can increase the battery capacity of this unit. So it does have expansion capability. The rubber connectors are actually really nice and snug. As you can see, I struggled there a little bit putting it in because they're really nice and snug. Also on the back, you've got the connection for your AC power cord for charging on 120 volt house power, and you've also got the port for your solar panels. And that port is also the port that you use if you are using the 12 volt car charger. So you have your DC input port here. Very nicely laid out. They did a pretty good job with the layout. You've got a You've got a couple of vents on the side here. This vent has got two cooling fans on one side of it, so it'll move quite a bit of air. And when those cooling fans are running, you can most certainly hear them, so they're moving quite a bit of air. This unit also has a night light on the front. You just push this button. Actually, let me just turn the unit on here. It's a push and hold until the unit powers up. It does have a light on the front, so if you push the button once, you get light. If you push it again, you get brighter light. If you push it again, you get a dimmer light, and it's got a slightly different hue to it, and a little brighter on that setting. And then you've got flashing lights, which actually flashes SOS, which is kind of neat. So if you're in an emergency and you need to signal somebody, that will flash SOS for you. So let's go ahead and just talk about some of the specifications. So the weight of this unit is 47 pounds, and it's pretty weighty. You can definitely tell you're lifting something. They give you two really nice, strong handles here. The only thing I wish they would have done is I wish they would have put one center handle in here so you could carry it like a suitcase. I'm big enough where a 50-pound power station would be a pretty doable load for one hand. I wish they would have put a center handle on here, but you can carry it just by one handle, I guess. Uh, it's 15 inches by 10 and a half inches by 11 inches. So it's pretty portable. It doesn't take up a whole lot of room. It is a little on the weighty side. It's got about 2200 watts capacity at 32 volts and 62 amp hours. I've already talked about all the ports, the inputs and the outputs. The battery info is, they call it a semi-solid state. And basically what it is it's got batteries in this thing that have got some kind of gel or shmoo in them or whatever it is that holds the electrical charge. So it's not like a lead acid battery or anything like that. They're kind of semi-solid state, for lack of a better term, which means they've got some kind of a gel inside of those battery packs. I don't exactly understand the science in it. I don't care. It's witchcraft to me, and it puts out power. That's the important part. But they do claim that you will get 3,000 plus charge cycles out of this thing. And looking at the other portable power stations, that's pretty much in the realm of where everybody else seems to be as well. Environmental operating temperatures. This is what's interesting to me because I live in North Dakota, and I was mildly curious as to whether I was going to be able to use these in the winter. So their optimal operating temperature is 32 degrees to 104 degrees. So that's their optimal operating temperatures. Uh, their discharge temperatures from -4 to 104 degrees. So apparently they don't ever want you to exceed 104, and this will actually work down to -4, though that is below their 32 degrees optimal. So I'm assuming that when you start getting below 32 degrees, the efficiency of this thing is probably going to suffer. I'll test that this winter when I'm actually using it to see how it does in cold temperatures. Charging temperature, they want it to be somewhere between 14 and 104 degrees, and they want you to store it in their optimal charging range, which is 32 to 104 degrees. And these are all Fahrenheit. I live in America. It's Fahrenheit to me. If you want the Celsius, I'll throw up a screenshot here and you can see the Celsius readings on it. So that's the basic specifications. Then the manual gives you some safety instructions, disposal guides, storage and maintenance, things of that effect, uh, and basically how to use it. It's pretty intuitive. It's pretty simple. So once you've got the unit started, you can see it went to sleep here. But it's just basically a push and hold on the power button to start the unit, and then to wake it up from then on, all you have to do is push the button and it wakes up. Now, to run these accessory ports on the front, you actually have to push and hold until it beeps and the little light comes on, and that means that that section of the unit is ready to go. You've got power supplied to those ports and you can actually use it. Same thing on the USB side. You have to physically turn them on, and you can have them all on at once or one or whatever. There's no limitation on how many of these areas you can have running. And then if you want to turn those off, you just push and hold and you can turn them off. The AC power ports in the back are the same way. Push and hold, light comes on. You can hear some clicking going on because it's working the transformers inside of the machine. And now all of the AC power ports are turned on. So to prove that, I've got my little old-fashioned work lamp here. You just go ahead and plug it in. Let's turn on the switch. You can see the light is now on, and so the AC power ports are working. So talking about the AC power ports, that's a good way for me to segue into what are my initial impressions of the BougeRV. The packaging was very nice. It came in a fairly timely manner. I was fairly impressed with that. The outer box was very heavy duty. It was all contained in styrofoam, very well packaged inside. I have no complaints with that whatsoever. When I got the unit out, I went ahead and I powered it up, just to see if it would power up, and it had about 50% charge in it, which was pretty decent. That means that they actually had put a charge to it. And all of the front ports on the DC side worked, but I did have a problem with my rear ports on the AC side. Uh, they wouldn't turn on. I could sit there and push that button all day long and twice on Tuesday, and they just would not turn on. So, brand new, I got a hold of BougeRV. That was on the 21st of August. It is now the 31st of August. On the 21st of August, I called BougeRV, told them what my problem was. The girl on the other end of the phone was very nice. She was very polite. She says, okay, I will submit a trouble ticket for you, and they will contact you within the next 24 hours. So then on the 22nd of August, I was contacted by the uh, tech support people at BougeRV. They had reviewed the problem and they said they needed it to be shipped back to their repair center in Texas, and that they were going to send me a shipping label and all of these kind of things. I haven't got it yet. I haven't gotten my shipping label yet. It's been well over a week, almost a week and a half, and I still have not received my shipping label from BougeRV. At any rate, that being said, uh, I got tired of waiting. So I did exactly what you're not supposed to do. I took the 10 screws out of the top of the box and I lifted the front cover off just to see if I could see something that was very noticeably not connected on that. And when I did get the top cover off of the box, I did notice right away that one of the cords that is supposed to plug into the board, and it was pretty clear that it was plugged in at one point in time, was not plugged in. And what I think happened was is when they put the unit together, the two main power cables that they have feeding these outlets bumped into that plug before the silicone sealant took hold and it dislodged it, and it was just laying there unhooked. So I went ahead and I went to my local home center and I bought some liquid tape, and I came back, I plugged it back in, put some liquid tape on it, and now it's working. So that was clearly the problem. That is what the problem was. But I just got tired of waiting for BougeRV. So right off the bat, not horribly impressed with BougeRV's customer service. Now they sent me an email and said we apologize for the delay. We're in the process of transitioning from one system to the other. Kind of a lame excuse. I don't really care if you're transitioning from one system to the next. That should not be an excuse for poor customer service, and it should not take more than a week to get a shipping label so I can return this thing for repairs, especially when it's a brand spanking new unit. So not horribly impressed with BougeRV's customer service. So be warned, if you buy this, customer service may or may not be to what your standard is. Point is, the system is now working. This is the Jack of all trades channel. I do know how to run a screwdriver. It was very much an easy, simple fix. I digress. The unit is now working. All the AC ports work fine. Fit and finish of the unit, very nicely made. It's exactly what I figured it should be. It's quite obviously some kind of molded plastic. It's pretty structurally sound. These handles are really nice and solid. All the covers and things like that fit very, very well. Fit and finish of the machine is excellent. I do have one thing I would like to talk about though, and that's these 5 AC ports. You cannot push the power plugs all the way in, or you cannot push the plugs into the outlet all the way in. There's actually a little bit of exposed outlet. So let me relocate the camera and show you that. Okay, so I have to show you kind of a side view of these plugs, and I do have the unit turned off. But when you go ahead and push that plug in, you can see very, very clearly that that outlet doesn't push all the way in. I can push and force it and it'll maybe close a little bit of the distance, but it pops right back out again. And that is all 5 of them are like that. So when you plug something into this thing, they are not going in all of the way. You can very clearly see daylight in each and every one of those. I don't like that. I would like to have no space in there. These should be standard outlets, and they're very clearly not standard outlets because the plugs just simply do not push all the way in like I think they should. And it doesn't matter what it is. Here's the power cord that BougeRV gives you. And like I said, the unit is turned off. You can see it does not push all the way in. There's daylight there. And all 5 of them are like that. That is not right. I think BougeRV needs to do something about their outlets and get that changed, because there should be no daylight in between the outlet and the plug. So looking at the display here, I'm actually very impressed with the display. It's easy to read. It's almost like a backlit. It's just really, really clear. Very, very happy. All the information you would need up there. It tells you when your DC 5525 ports are on. It doesn't turn anything on when you turn on the USB charging ports, but that's fine. I don't care about that. It gives you battery percentage, how much battery you've got left. It'll tell you how much power you're drawing out and how much power is going in. And like I said, when you got this thing plugged into the wall, I did actually have this thing pulling 1400 watts to charge the battery. So, and it'll tell you that when it's plugged in. Now at an 85% charge, it's not actually pulling that much wattage. I'll go ahead and let me plug this thing in so you can see the wattage that I'm pulling when I charge it. Okay, so now it's starting to charge, and you can see that the charge wattage is ramping up, and it tells you how many hours of charging you have left, and that is all changing as the wattage ramps up. But you can see it's climbing pretty high. We're already at 207 watts, 230 watts, and that actually is jiving with what my power meter is saying, because I have my power meter plugged into the wall just to see if the BougeRV wattage draw is comparable to what my power meter says it is. And it is jiving. So 283 watts is what we're pulling right now, according to the BougeRV box. And you can see my power meter that I've got plugged into the wall is pretty close. So right now, BougeRV says I'm drawing 375 watts, and this says I'm drawing 386 watts. So it's close enough. It's pretty close. It's actually giving you a pretty realistic number on the wattage draw. And like I said, it also tells you how much longer you have until your charge is completely, or your unit is completely charged up. And right now it's telling me that in an hour, this will be at 100% charge. Now they do claim that on fast charging, you should be able to go from 0 to 80% in 1.1 hours. And that's quite obviously going to be pulling a much heavier watt draw. So that would be pulling all of 1500 watts to get that kind of a charge in a 1.1 hour time frame. So to go from 0 to 80 very, very quickly if you've got plugged into the wall, but only if you've got it plugged into the wall. So what do I intend to use this machine for? Well, clearly I'm going to use it for camping. I'm going to use it as backup power for camping. Now my little camper, my Freedom camper, I've designed a whole battery system for that, which seems to be working very, very well. But I'm going to use this for an additional source of battery power should I ever need it. Also, it's just going to be nice to have for backup power. If you lose power in the house or something like that, you'll have a way to charge cell phones and things of that effect, and run some basic household items if you need to, and it's going to be used for that as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and plug this into my BougeRV 3500 BTU air conditioner, and we're going to see how it lasts, how well it runs it, things of that effect. So this is, I just set it here on my trailer. This is not a permanent solution. This just is convenient, is really all it is. I might do something to make it so this is where I can put it permanently. We'll see. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's plug this thing in. I'm going to crank it up, and we're going to see what kind of power it's going to draw, and then we're going to do a little test, and we're going to see how long it lasts. Just being in the garage here, it's 80 degrees. I'll open up the back door, and we'll get some light in here. Let that sun beat on it a little bit, and we'll just see how long it lasts, just sitting in a basic environment like this. So I've already got it turned on. Yep, turned on. Turn on the AC power port. Plug it in. Okay, it's running. Let's get it kicked on and see what it does. Okay, so I've got the temperature in there set at 61 degrees, the lowest temperature setting on normal. I don't have it on rocket mode or anything like that. You can see that air conditioner is drawing 367 watts. Should last 5.5 hours according to the box. So you should get, or we should get about 5 hours of use out of it at this setting. Now, what it's not going to do is this thing is obviously not going to draw that much wattage all of the time. As the camper cools down, that air conditioner will cycle on and off and thusly reduce the wattage that it's drawing. So in reality, this should last way longer than 5 hours. So what I'm going to do, I got it on the coldest setting right now just to show what kind of an amp draw it is. Let's go ahead and put it on rocket mode and see what that amp draw or watt draw looks like. Okay, now it's set on rocket mode. Doesn't look like the draw is all that much difference. Still running about the same. It's just moving a little more air a little faster, so not a whole lot of watt draw difference between rocket mode and standard mode. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it back onto normal mode, and I'm going to drop the temperature or make the temperature to 70 degrees. We're going to watch this thing cycle on and off, and we're going to see what the watt draw is when it cycles. Okay, so now I've got it set at 70 degrees, which made the air conditioner cycle off. It's only drawn 11 watts. And now it's telling you you're going to get 99 hours of usage out of this thing. So running this thing with the temperature set at what would be considered a normal temperature will extend your life considerably on this machine, and it should run for a really long time just cycling it on and off like that. So we're just going to let this thing sit here and run. I'll probably set it to 68 degrees just so it runs more often, and then see what kind of reduction in percentage we get over maybe 2 or 3 hours of time. Okay, so I've had the machine running now for several hours, actually, about 5 hours, and it's gone from 100% to 62%. It's about 78 degrees ambient air temperature, and I've got the air conditioner set to 63 degrees to make it work and cycle on and off. and the machine is, of course, the air conditioner is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. But as you can see, I've still got quite a few hours left of use time. So I have no doubt whatsoever that this battery would actually, this power station would actually last an entire night or even two with judicious use of camping in my situation. Now, obviously, the camper's not sitting out in the sun, and these aren't really real-world conditions. I'm sitting here in my garage, but ambient air temperature right now is about 77 degrees, and I've got the thermostat on the air conditioner set quite low so that it cycles on and off so that I can, more closely simulate that of when it would be a hotter temperature outside. But the fact that this machine has been running for several hours now, over 5 hours, and it's at 65%, with this thing running what I would consider under normal conditions, that's pretty impressive to me. And to get a 2000 or a 2200 watt power station for under $1,000 is also pretty attractive to me. Most of these power stations, when you buy them, and and they're in the upper ends of what would people would call the upper tiers, they're well over $1,000, $2,000 sometimes. Very expensive these machines are, and so to be able to provide a 2200 watt portable power station for under $1,000. In fact, like I said, when I bought this one, it was 700. I don't know what they're selling for now. I'll post a picture of current Amazon pricing, at least as of the making of this video. That's pretty impressive. I've got AC power outlets. I've got DC power outlets. I've got USB-C and USB-A power outlets. I've got a lot of versatility here. I can charge it with shore power or through a generator. I can charge it using a car adapter. I can charge it through solar. I got multiple ways to charge this thing. Sure, I wish there was a handle. Yes, it's kind of heavy. It's probably heavier than what you might think, but I know other companies are making these things and they're much bigger and they're much heavier than this one is. So this one actually does pretty well in that category. So far, where I noticed that BougeRV is really kind of suffering is in their customer service. Like I said, it's been over a week and I have not gotten a return shipping label for this. And ultimately, I had to open it up and fix it myself just so I can use the darn thing. Incidentally, I wouldn't recommend you do that. I'm pretty confident with my ability around electronics and things like that, but I would recommend to anybody out there watching this video, don't crack this thing open. There's some pretty high energy electricity in here, and there is definitely an electric shock hazard in here. So if you've got problems with your BougeRV power station, unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with BougeRV customer service, which at this point in time needs a lot of improvement. It's just not very good. I happen to be pretty confident in my abilities and my skills. I know how to use a screwdriver. I know what I shouldn't touch and what I should touch and how to take proper safety precautions. So just don't crack these things open thinking you're going to fix them yourselves unless you are supremely confident. And even then, I would say, you know what, just send this thing back to BougeRV and have them fix it. Let their people deal with it rather than the possibility of you getting hurt or injured. Now, this system I've got here with this BougeRV air conditioner, this power station, which is really why I wanted the power station, and my Freedom camper, I have no problem whatsoever believing that this system is going to be able to make this camper a comfortable temperature to actually sleep in exceedingly hot weather. Now, I'm obviously going to try and park this thing in the shade as much as possible. I'm actually considering purchasing some kind of a sunshade that I can put over it if I'm not able to park it in the shade. Things that you can do to keep this unit cool in the first place, because I do know that when it is sitting out in the sun and it's 90 degrees outside, the thermostat that I have inside of my camper only reads high. It stops actually reading a temperature because it gets so warm in here because the sun does beat on it and it will warm it up. But this air conditioner should do a very nice job of keeping those temperatures down. Now, when it is out in the direct sun like that, I have full belief that this power station is going to have to work a lot harder because the air conditioner is going to have to work a lot harder. So like I said, these aren't realistic, real world conditions. I'm obviously parked in my garage here, but I tried to give you some kind of an idea about how this system is going to last by setting the air conditioner temperature down to kind of simulate higher temperatures. And it seems to be holding up really well. Now, next weekend, I happen to be going camping with a buddy of mine, and I'm really hoping for some warmer temperatures so that I could put this thing through a more real world test. But we are going into September here, and temperatures are going to start falling off pretty fast because we are in the northern hemisphere, and it's going to be fall, and the next thing you know, it's going to be winter. So with that, hopefully I can get some better testing next weekend. And as time goes on and I've got this unit and I continue to use it, I'll let you know if I have any problems with it, any issues I've had or anything that I've noticed over the course of time. This is my first time really using or testing this unit, and it seems to be doing pretty well. And for the price point at which they're at, it seems like it's a pretty good unit, and I'm not disappointed with it at all. Now, understand, BougeRV did not send this to me. I bought this. So I have got no allegiance to these people whatsoever, which is why I bring up the customer service, which they really do need to seriously work on. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Now, I hope this provided you with enough information to maybe make a bit of a decision on whether you want to go with the BougeRV power station. Check out my video on the air conditioner so you can understand what I think about that unit, which is the video I put out last week. And understand BougeRV they didn't send me these products. I paid for them with my own money. So this is about as honest as I can make these reviews. This is Ed with Jack of All Trades. As always, thank you for stopping by. Thank you to my longtime subscribers. I really do appreciate the support. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and click that notification bell so you get notified of upcoming videos. And we'll see you on the next video.